Good morning, everyone. I'm doing this angel card reading a little early as I'm traveling next week. So it actually is about a week before the 1st. I am Tracy Makarenko, and I'm here to do February's angel card reading. And today I've been guided to use the Getting to the Vortex cards with Esther and Jerry Hicks. There we go. I used them a couple months ago. I'm still getting used to them. Although many of the cards has information we're familiar with, it's always nice to maybe take that information to a deeper level of understanding, or be reminded of things that maybe we've forgotten. So as usual, I'm going to pick 3 cards, and if I'm guided to pick a 4th, I will. There's some just popping out of the deck today. And they're so abstracty, it's kind of cool. I can get from an unwanted to a wanted relationship. Many of us struggle with that because when we're in an unwanted relationship, we're not always sure how to get out of them. And then when we get out of them, we seem to attract more unwanted relationships. So it's really important to pay attention to what you want, not what you don't want, what you want in a relationship, so that you can move into those relationships that you are looking for. So the back of this card says, as you walk away from one unpleasant situation, the law of attraction will bring another that feels very much like it, and usually quickly. You just cannot get there from there. To get to where you want to be, the place of feeling better, you have to reach for alignment between you and you. Getting yourself feeling good before you take action is always the best process. For when you do not feel good, you cannot be inspired to take any action that will solve the problem. And that's why we do attract relationships that are similar in nature before we get to the one that's the best for us. Because I've talked before about our frequency rising, and as the frequency rises, we get healthier, we become more inspired, we become more intuitive. We become more kind and gentle to our body. We pay more attention to boundaries. But we can't go from here to here overnight. There's baby steps along the way. So even in my book, Moving from the Outside In, I talk about the relationships in my teenage years and early 20s, and how I kept attracting not as bad, but still definitely unpleasant relationships that increased in nature, so they weren't as terrible, but it allowed me to build up my confidence and allowed me to transfer from one frequency to the next in a slower pace. At that point, I had already realized what wasn't working for me, so I moved through it much quicker, because you become aware of what you're attracting a lot faster. So if you are in a relationship right now that is making you unhappy, the other thing you need to remember is don't try and change people from what they are. Try to find somebody who's perfect for you the way they are already, because you wouldn't want anyone to come into a relationship to change you into something you already are not. So just keep that in mind. It's very important that when we go into a relationship, it's for all the right reasons, and not because you think you can tweak or change or adjust somebody else. So the next card is, my attention to unwanted can't defy the law of attraction. And that's just building more on what we've been talking about. So there's the card there. If your life has caused you to ask for an improved situation, no matter what it is, and you are no longer offering chronic thought vibrations that are opposite of your desire must come to you. But you cannot continue to keep alive within you vibrational patterns of what you do not want and receive what you do. That defies the law of attraction. So that's exactly what I was just talking about. When we change our frequency and we move in those baby steps, sometimes slowly, sometimes then faster, we are letting go of, what did they call them? We are no longer offering chronic thought vibrations that are opposite of our desire. We're letting go of those unwanted desires and moving more towards the wanted desire, because we can almost feel at some point that it's pulling us, that there's something there for us waiting, and we get excited, and it also raises our frequency, and then we start thinking more in a positive manner and less in a negative manner. And that's really when the magic and the miracles happen in each and every person's life, is during that transition where we finally let go of that old behavior pattern and move into the new excited manifestations, positive manifestations. So the third card is flawed premises cannot attract true unwanted evidence. Flawed premises can attract true unwanted evidence. You see that? If you were to hear a false premise again and again until you yourself begin to believe and repeat it, now your own activation of the contradictory vibration would interfere with your sense of intelligence, and you would begin to attract evidence of your belief, in effect, proving the false premise to be true. And so it becomes increasingly hard for you to call this a false premise, when the evidence seems to be telling you that it is true, for over time you come to believe in its truth. So, as a small child, you might have had a lot of really good things in your life. And then one day something happened to you. And it's happened to many of us. This is how we lose our inner child, is somewhere around the ages of 7 to about 13, 12. Something happens and the world is cruel. It feels cruel to us. And it might not be something huge, it might be something smaller, but something happens and we don't think we're as deserving. This is what a false premise would be. Because we are deserving, but because of an event happening in our life, we think we don't deserve as much as we did the day before or 2 days before that. So you really have to pay attention to what you believe and what you don't believe, and this will help you move through those unwanted patterns into wanted manifestations. Because the law of attraction is constantly happening, whether it's good or bad. You need to really pay attention to letting go of the stuff that's not real and not true in your life, and allowing something new to happen that can be truthful for you in a very positive way. We can also do this, take on false premises that are positive. And that's that whole saying, fake it till you make it. So it works in the same way. You can keep pretending that great things are happening to you. And as you keep pretending, you will start attracting those good things that you want to happen to you. So you can move yourself into that positive manifestation of what you want in life. So depending on where you are, really pay attention to which way you're working with these false premises. Are you working with them to stay in a very stagnant place, or even make yourself more depressed? Or are you able to release what is there and find a truth, or make a truth that you make a new truth in your life that you want to move towards? So I think February is going to be a fantastic month of us letting go and allowing the new to enter in. Allow yourself to take those baby steps if necessary. Things don't happen overnight. I tell my clients that all the time. You know, we have our manifestation boards and we want all this to happen, but in order for all this to come together, there's a lot of breaking down that has to take place, and these cards are about that breaking down, about the letting go, in order to allow space to open and allow the things on our board to come in and fill that empty space. So it doesn't always happen overnight. You can do little things overnight, and sometimes when that space has finally been broken open, something comes into that space that is magical and huge and fantastic because you've allowed it to take place and shape the rest of your life. So hope you have a fabulous February, and I'm always interested to hear what you have to say, so if you want to send me an email or post something on the YouTube, by all means do. I really do enjoy chatting with whoever contacts me. And I just want to mention, and I've mentioned it before, if you do your own cards, or even if you don't do your own cards, remember that I have 3 years worth of these readings, and you can go on my YouTube and you can go through them and pick one like a card to help support you for that day. And just hearing my voice and my support might be a little bit more strength for you to get through whatever you're going through than just reading a card. And so I like you to know that I'm there to support you in that way as well. So have a fabulous February, and we'll talk again in March.